you up-to-the-minute and relevant news in local and international maritime trade. This is Nimasa This Week. Hello and welcome. My name is Ireti Aladuel. Now, a happy new year to everybody watching today. We're wishing you God's guidance and prosperity throughout the year 2014. Now, the outgoing year was a very eventful one in the maritime industry, and Nimasa made giant strides in every aspect of her mandate. Now, we've decided as we begin to go into the new year to do some stock taking of the outgoing year. Now, in this two-part series, we will be bringing you highlights of the landmark events that took place within the maritime industry in the year 2013.
Perhaps the most significant development for Nimasa in the year 2013 was the formal appointment of Nimasa as the designated authority for the implementation of the International Ship and Ports Facilities Security Code, ISPS. Our review begins with a report of that development.
Following the horrific events of September 11, 2001, when terrorists struck the United States, a renewed urgency to guard against such attacks prompted the International Maritime Organization to come up with the International Ship and Port Facility Security ISPS Code to secure ship and port facilities against any security threats, be they of a criminal or terrorist nature. Many member nations of the IMO, including Nigeria, quickly ratified the code. Nimasa and a host of other related government and security agencies make up the ISPS Code Implementation Committee, ICIC, which is chaired by the Executive Director, Maritime Safety and Shipping Development of Nimasa, Captain Bala Agaba. Nimasa and the ICIC on Monday 10th June at the Echo Hotel and Suites in Lagos organized a two-day General Stakeholders Conference on the implementation of the code in Nigeria. The conference proper was preceded by an opening ceremony in which the chairman of the ICIC, Captain Bala Agaba, gave a welcome address in which he spoke extempore about the urgency of the issues confronting stakeholders as regards ship and port facilities security.
Reading through the report, I've gone out to bring a national item. The ports are there, the facilities, the recommendations, and the timeline is here. Everything is here. So what we are here to do is to make sure this report comes out clean by July 31st or latest August 31st. We must have this clean bill of health. So I expect that everybody's interest is to make sure that we come out effectively and urgently to solve this problem. We've been called here today to talk to each other, exchange ideas on how best we can move forward.
Shortly after the welcome address, it was the turn of the Director General of Nimasa, Siakede Patrick Akpobolo-Kemi, to give an opening address in which he emphasized Nimasa's willingness to cooperate with all stakeholders to stamp out the criminal activities that have been threatening our maritime domain.
The effective implementation of the ISPS code by Nimasa requires the cooperation of key government stakeholders at the highest level. I am greatly delighted to acknowledge that we have the cooperation and support of the Nigerian Navy, the Nigerian Ports Authority, and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Nimasa, in fulfillment of its responsibility as the designated authority for the ISPS code implementation, will make enforcement and governance top on its agenda. With your support and cooperation, I am confident that we will make such great strides that our commitment to this global mandate will not be in doubt or be called to question. We will vigorously pursue ISPS code implementation by raising the security standards, of all port facilities in our country and ships that bear our nation's flag.
The National Security Advisor was represented by a director in the Office of the National Security Advisor, Uwe Isangedigi. In his speech, he underscored the need for everyone, regardless of whether or not they are members of the security structure, to be vigilant. The NSA also suggested that the outcome of the conference should be extensively publicized so as to sensitize all stakeholders on the need to be security conscious. Following the NSA's speech, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Maritime Matters, Leke Oyewole, then took the floor and officially informed the gathering of the dissolution of the Presidential Implementation Committee on Maritime Security (PICOMS) and the appointment of Nimasa as the designated authority to coordinate the implementation of the ISPS code.
Nimasa is now the designated authority and officially, and nobody is contesting that. That on its own spells enormous responsibility of the agency.
Goodwill messages from some key institutions were read out by their representatives who attended the conference. They include messages from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and the Nigerian Ports Authority. The Nigerian Navy's representative on the board of Nimasa and Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Ogunjimi, who represented the Chief of Naval Staff, gave a background to the events that led to the need to evolve the ISPS code.
When the incident of September 2001 happened, a lot of actions were set in motion. And one of it was to look at the safety of life at sea, solars, and to make some amendments. It is out of that amendment that ISPS code was instituted.
Rounding up the goodwill message was a representative of the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria.
Without a doubt, Nigeria faces a daunting task, exerting effective control over its ports, waterways, and ice seas, making those areas safe for commerce and passengers alike. Our belief that Nigeria can meet these challenges is more than just reassuring words. We have supported and will continue to support national and regional efforts to improve maritime security in Nigerian waters.
The conference then kicked off with participants addressing questions and making suggestions to members of the ICIC who were present. We, however, caught up with Chief Isaac Jolakpamo, the chairman of the Indigenous Ship Owners Association of Nigeria, ISAN, and asked him for his comments on the proceedings.
This has been an ongoing thing, and every ship owner should be ready to comply with the ISPS code.
We also ran into the Special Assistant on Technical Matters to the Honorable Minister of Transport, Professor William Estefanus, and sought his views on Nimasa's appointment as the designated authority to implement the ISPS code.
Now, if Nimasa is in charge of maritime administration, naturally they should be saddled with that responsibility. And because the Ministry of Transport is the supervising ministry for Nimasa, it gave it the enablement and the strength to be able to discharge its constitutional responsibility.
Maritime security and cabotage services also got a boost in the year 2013 as 3 brand new patrol vessels were acquired to complement the agency's activities. The next report is about that landmark acquisition.
Maritime administration and safety in Nigeria received a boost with the acquisition of 3 vessels by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa. The medium-range vessels, which are chiefly meant for search and rescue operations, are capable of carrying out other functions such as maritime security patrol. The head of Search and Rescue Department of Nimasa, retired Commander Ilyas Ubako, gave a detailed explanation about the functions of the vessels. The Maritime Guard vessels are not to operate in isolation as they are to be attached to mother ships.
They are supposed to be attached to the mother ship. There will be anchor off 40 nautical miles from Lagos, Fairway Boy, and similarly one other one will be anchored off probably 30 nautical miles from Bonny, Fairway Boy, and then of course in Calabar area it will be anchored off also some few nautical miles. And what these medium range vessels do is that they attach to these mother ships that are stationed in three locations, namely Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Calabar area. And what they do is that for any incident, they will be they are having monitoring, AIS systems on board, and also other, navigational aids that will assist. So if for any reason there is an attack, they will be detached from the mother ship, and then they will go on hot pursuit. And this is done usually in Coast Guard duties, namely in the U.S. Coast Guard. In fact, Malaysia has also adopted that system. So the mother ship are very, very critical for this operation.
The acquiring of the vessels is no doubt a step in the right direction of reducing the criminal activities of pirates and sea robbers operating within Nigeria's territorial waters.
Now, welcome back. As you can see, quite a bit took place in the year 2013. There was a lot of capacity building, a lot of new things and innovations took place. But don't go away. After the break, we'll be bringing you more highlights of the year 2013.
Nimasa, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. For Obonga Shipping Registration, no. Nimasa, Commercial Shipping, no. Nimasa, Maritime Labor,
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, the nation's maritime watchdog, established to promote maritime safety, security, commercial shipping, and regulate maritime pollution. Nimasa is well positioned and committed to take the development and standardization of Nigeria's maritime industry to greater heights. Are you interested in the local or international commercial shipping business or in seafaring and do not know what to do or how to go about it? Nimasa will guide and see you through. Sea pirates, oil thieves, and all forms of dubious and illegal business on Nigeria's maritime domain have no hiding place because Nimasa's eagle eyes will locate or catch up with you. For Nimasa, it is zero tolerance to sea pollution as all abandoned ships and wrecks on Nigeria's waterways which pose danger to sea transportation will be cleared. Nimasa, promoting safe and secure maritime environment.
The ratification of the Maritime Labour Convention by Nigeria in the course of the year 2013 can be said to be a major feat by Nimasa. Even more so was the lodging of the ratified instrument at the International Labour Organization headquarters in Geneva. Our next report is from Geneva.
The ILO's Maritime Labour Convention 2006 provides comprehensive rights and protection at work for the world's more than 1.2 million seafarers. The convention sets out seafarers' rights to decent conditions of work on a wide range of subjects and aims to be globally applicable. It has been designed to become a global instrument known as a fourth pillar of the international regulatory regime for quality shipping, complementing the key conventions of the International Maritime Organization, IMO. The MLC 2006 will revise 36 conventions and one protocol immediately it enters into force. The Director General of the ILO, Mr. Guy Ryder, described the presentation of Nigeria's instrument of ratification to the organization as the highlight of the 102nd session which took place in Geneva, Switzerland. The Minister of Labour and Productivity, Chief Emeka Wogu, led Nigeria's delegation, which included the DG Nimasa, Mr. Ziakedia Kubulukemi, who was represented by the agency's Executive Director, Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, Barrister Callistus Obi, Nimasa board member Mrs. Teresa Brima, officials of the Transport and Labour and Productivity Ministries, members of the National Assembly, organized labor and other stakeholders were in attendance. Speaking to journalists shortly after handing over the ratification instrument to the DG-ILO, the Honorable Minister of Labour and Productivity, Chief Meka Wogu, noted that the quest to provide decent and productive jobs for the teeming youths of Nigeria was the reason the President Jonathan administration demonstrated exemplary commitment to the ratification of the MLC 2006.
In my speech, in my statement on behalf of the Nigerian delegation, I stated what the Nigerian government is doing vis-a-vis the transformation agenda of Mr. President, which is being fully implemented and which includes the concerns of ILO for this year's 102 conference. And again, I mentioned, I talked about the midterm report of Mr. President, which is all encapsulating of all we've been doing in the country. So the transformational efforts of the current DG of ILO is in sync with the transformation agenda already put in place by Mr. President in our country.
On his part, DG's Nimasa representative, the agency's Executive Director, Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, Barrister Callistus Obi, described the ratification of the convention by Nigeria as a watershed in the Nigerian maritime sector.
The ratification is a defining moment for the Nigerian maritime sector. It comes with a whole lot of activities that will greatly impact on the maritime sector in terms of labor, in terms of crewing. As a matter of fact, it opens a new vista entirely. So it's a whole lot of program. Today we've just finished with the ratification, the submission of the instrument. When we get back home, we'll begin an entirely new process that will turn the sector around.
With this submission, Nigeria became the 5th country from Africa and the 38th country amongst the 185 member organization to ratify the convention. Otumba Kunle Folarin is the chairman, Nigerian Seafarers Welfare Board. He also witnessed history made in Geneva.
It's been a struggle to make sure that Nigeria joins the international maritime community, has a voice in the international community, and win in that process a mandate for the welfare of Nigerian seafarers. Today, the document has been deposited, and I assure you we are going to move forward from now.
Alhaji Isa Baba, the immediate past director of Maritime Labour Services of Nimasa, could not hide his joy at the success story of the agency, expressing gratitude to the present management of Nimasa.
Today, all the day this instrument was ratified and signed by the President was one of the happiest days in my life. Basically because we started this journey for a very long time. We tried all we could to get it done. It is done. It is a big relief to the millions of Nigerian seafarers, whom I believe should be very grateful to Nimasa and to the DG in particular, who has put in so much commitment and sacrifice to ensure that this thing has been done.
Now that the country has submitted the ratification instruments to the ILO, the next stage is domestication of the convention.
With the submission of the ratification document of the Maritime Labour Convention 2006 to the International Labour Organization, Nigerian maritime sector can be rest assured that Nimasa is working towards ensuring that the best interest of the human component is well taken care of. Osaji Edward reporting for Nimasa This Week in Geneva.
You're still watching Nimasa This Week. Don't go away. The program continues with another illuminating report.
The National Seafarers Development Program continued to forge ahead in leaps and bounds within the year 2013. Hundreds of Nigerian youths got enrolled in the program and were sent to the Philippines to train as seafarers. We got a chance to visit the Philippines, and here is our report.
Human capacity development in the maritime sector is a mandate that Nimasa has pursued with so much vigor in order to engender accelerated shipping development and afford indigenous shipping operators the opportunity of playing a pivotal role in the inland and coastal trade in Nigeria. To address this unpleasant situation and achieve significant success in the building of local capacity, Nimasa in 2008 came up with a major human capacity development initiative tagged Nigerian Seafarers Development Program (NSDP). The program has recorded significant milestones with 16 state governments having embraced the initiative. The Senate and House Committee on Marine Transport believed very much in the National Seafarers Development Program as a panacea to the dearth of seafarers and technical hands required to bring about the much-needed turnaround in the maritime sector. Indeed, the success story of NSDP will not be complete without the vital inputs from these distinguished and honorable men and women. It was therefore not surprising that the House Committee on Marine Transport, led by its chairman, Right Honorable Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, alongside delegates from Nimasa on November 15, 2013, embarked on a working visit to the Philippines to evaluate the progress of the program against its original blueprints. Their mandate also included the assessment of the educational facilities available in the various institutions collaborating with Nimasa, and most importantly, assess the welfare of the Nigerian cadets studying in the Philippines. On November 18, 2013, the visiting lawmakers took a facility tour to the University of Perpetual Help in Las Piñas and Laguna. Everywhere they went, the Nigerian delegates got a rousing welcome deserving of an envoy of this caliber. The story was the same the following day as the delegate visited the University of Lyceum for an assessment of the educational facilities available in the university. Two of the legislators who were in the Philippines with some Nimasa officials had this to say about their observations.
The policy of Nimasa towards bringing our children up in the area of maritime development, seafarers, and is worthy, and we want to appreciate them for especially locating a very, very good school in the Philippines, and we could see the infrastructures. When we look at the economy of the Philippines, we know that seafarers or the maritime sector contributes a lot of revenue, and we hope that this development will be transferred into Nigerian economy.
As you can see, sometimes we within the National Assembly, they only bring the theoretical aspects for us to see how allocation can be made and for it to be feasible. But when we come on this oversight, we're able to see firsthand what is really happening. I've never been impressed like I've been for the past 2 days in going to these university campuses and seeing the Nigerian students, one, their living condition, the educational infrastructure being put in place, and even the ship stimulators, very impressive and also. The entire management staff, this is indeed a laudable project. And me personally, is something I'll commend them any day, because absolutely I have seen a very fantastic job in the making, bringing up the youths, believing in these youths that they are the future of tomorrow.
The accompanying Nimasa officials also had this to say.
It's been a very good experience bringing out the members of the Honorable House of Representatives to this fact-finding and interesting mission of oversight function. We are glad they've done their job of seeing how the students are faring, and we are very delighted with the kind of support they have for the growth of capacity development in Nigerian maritime sector.
The university that we have seen so far
and the conduct of our students is highly commendable. And that the management of Nimasa, in the course of time, they will be truly proud of this great strength that they have made towards production of pool of seafarers. It is truly a very, very commendable effort by the management of Nimasa, and I think Nigeria in general will be truly proud about what we have seen.
Presently, there are over 2,500 Nigerian youths enrolled in various maritime academies around the world under the National Seafarers Development Program. Nimasa plans to have 5,000 cadets in the program by 2015 and 10,000 cadets by the year 2020 as a means of addressing the manpower shortfall in the maritime industry in Nigeria.
And so we come to the end of the very first edition of our show in the year 2014. As always, we hope we kept you educated and informed. Now, please don't forget, Nimasa This Week is an interactive show. We want to respond to your questions, your comments, and even your criticisms. All you need to do is send an email to the address currently showing on your screen. Now, I'm going to be here same time, same station next week. Until then, we're wishing you smooth sailing and bon voyage.